Just so the board has some information, because I know the board likes information. There are, if I could, Carl, there are currently approximately 40 positions that we've hired staff that were not included in the budget of June, were not included in last year's budget. Some of them are funded by the SIG grant, 4 of them, but there are a total of, it looks like, correct me, 40 additional positions that have been hired since last budget, public school teachers or staff, that are not funded in the budget that you are trying to recapture with this increase. Is that correct?
That's correct. And also the increase you see at the bottom, that is for the year. So a $600,000 home, your taxes would go up $382.
An important question that's asked about textbooks, because that's often asked, an analysis has been done. In 10-11, the district spent, because there was a textbook lease.
What page you on, Mike?
It's not there. I'm trying to give you help. Well, let's go through that. Where is the textbook page?
I think it's on E3.
I have no idea. What page is the textbook, Madame?
It looks like E1.
Arlene, come in.
Textbooks is E1.
E1, and what does the textbook line say on E1?
Textbook line is 02690.
And what it says here is, if I got this right, textbooks. Now, before everyone gets excited here, the textbook says for the proposed year 245, 400, and then you say, wow, look at the year before, it was 878, 920. Before anyone says what a decrease, actually, there was a textbook lease the district did a few years ago. What I've been told is that in the 11-12 year, the actual amount budgeted for textbooks was 270, 04836, and the year before was actually 289, 170, 36. So in English,
The textbook lease was paid off this past, one of the leases.
we have 2 leases. One of the textbook leases was paid off. If you recall, Mr. Seidler and others, our former interim BA, for some reason didn't budget for our textbook lease. And even though the number looks greater, the actual amount Carl budgeted last year was 270, 04836. This year it's 245, 400. The basis for that, Ms. Winters or Ms. Winter or Ms. Pisada, textbooks, principals have put in their requests, is that correct? And this meets their request? Is that right?
This meets the request, and also the final payments of the textbook leases were put into Fund 40, which they should have been in for last year.
Okay,
Mike, I have a question.
go ahead.
With the book amount, this number here will cover the whole district as far as books?
Yes, actually, the year before, Tracy, I'm sorry, it's 270, 048.36. That was for the whole district. So now it's 245, 400.
Now, is there room inside this budget for increase of books? You know, books cost more each year. Maybe for even changing the curriculum that we do here quite often. You know, to keep up. You know what I mean?
What I've been told in Ms. Winters, is Ms. Silva here? Okay. What I've been told, and Ms. Winters can correct, is that we put in, and the teachers can correct, we put in a new series in a few areas already. The teachers agree, whether they like it or not, it's another issue. But we put a few series in already of books. You don't just replace every series every year, is that right? Someone help me here, because I don't want to be the...
Yes.
So, they did purchase a lot of books through this, if not Title I and other areas, so you don't have to replace books every year.
I understand that. But we often, the board, the superintendent, often changes the curriculum inside the school.
She has no plan, as far as I know, to change the curriculum. We just changed, I believe, the math. Laura, could you help me? Could you? Because you.
Currently, K-8 has a new math program, so they will not be getting a new math program from K-8.
Is it possible? I know I asked for this before, but I haven't haven't seen it yet. Is it possible for the board to receive a 4-year or 5-year plan on the curriculum, that so we can see exactly what we're looking at for the next, how we're going to do it for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? I'm not sure. Is it possible that the board will get something to that effect?
You should have 5 years.
I haven't seen it. It's possible we can get a copy.
Do we have a 5-year?
Lakewood District has a 5-year plan.
Is Ms. Silver here that can give us a definite answer? I think she was sure. Is she still here, Mike?
Yes.
Ms. Silva will be here momentarily. She needed to use the facilities. All right, told you about textbooks. I also want to say something else, Mr. Seidler. The reason why you have many unfunded positions in the current is because, as you recall, which I will say publicly was a good idea, you brought special education to your early learning center. So now you have an early learning center where many students are being educated within districts.
So that's what we have, the LDTC, the Secretary of Department, the ESL.
Mike, I also have another question. Is there room, Mike,
Yes.
is there room, or I have a question for my question. You seem to have all the answers. Is there room in this budget? Because recently I walked through the Clark School without service permission. And I noticed that a lot of students don't have desks, that these are tables. And the tables that are in there, or some of the desks that are in there, aren't the same, the Rich Max desks. Like they come from other places, or we got them from somewhere else. Mike, is it possible, I know I noticed it, to have some kind of uniformity with the desk, so the students have somewhere to put their books. Is it possible, is it in the budget to purchase materials like that are needed inside the classroom?
There is some sense to what you're suggesting.
But is there room in the budget for that?
Well, right now, what I've been told, Mr. Thomas.
No.
I'm sorry.
He's a little taller than I am.
Yes. And you're a little better looking. Okay, now, what I've been told, and Ms. Basada down there can tell you, she can't go up. The amount of the budget is in other words, you can't go more than it is. Is that right, Arlene?
This is maxed. Their tax levy is maxed at the level given by the state.
Okay, but what I'm asking is there somewhere on this budget, was there room in there for supplies, for new?
There's money budgeted by the principals in here for supplies, but I don't know if they included any new desks or not.
He wants his phone.
And I have the information.
Excuse me, Michael. Can I ask a question on the budget as a
Is
whole,
the district
please?
growing? Are we going to need more desks than we have now and more textbooks?
The district's only growing by about 150 kids, it's not like something
Is that what it is?
yeah.
And we also don't know how many kids enroll until the beginning of the year.
No, we
Matter of
have
fact, this
projections.
year, there were a lot more kids that enrolled at the beginning of the year than were
No, you
projected.
have projections based on primary, preschool.
What is it?
You have projections based on preschool, you know how many kids are in preschool, you know?
That's not true. This district has a lot of children that move in mid.
Yes, they do. And they want to go out of district.
I just wanted to know, you know, according to these numbers, 150 kids cost $3 million. I had to get the $3 million increase.
There's a lot of things budgeted in here.
No, but the
Children's
only-
education.
I know you obviously didn't read the budget, so just excuse me for a second. Ms. Posada, this budget that I went through over here seems to have a net decrease of $400,000, and the only reason why we're seeing an increase is because of line item 02710.
What page is that on?
That's on page E1. Total regular programs instruction is going up by $3 million. Not really, but if you add in on the
What line is that, please?
E1 02710, total regular programs instruction. Last year was 15.5 million roughly, and this year it's going to be about 18.5 million roughly. It'll be finished up with the $300,000 increase on page E10. That was regular programs instruction health benefits, which is $300,000. That's basically the bulk of the increase, while transportation, special education, and all other areas of the budget have actually gone down. Could you you explain why we need $3 million in regular instruction?
Because that's what was deducted from last year's budget. From,
And are we in deficit?
I didn't hear you.
Are we in deficit? If it was deducted from last year's budget, is that a problem?
No, we managed to cut things down where we can, we'll be able to get through this year.
Okay, so why do we need the increase?
When he's asking, he's
She knows exactly what I'm asking, thank you.
You need an increase in, there was an increase in bilingual students,
Yeah, that was, I think,
right?
15, yeah.
Your health insurance is
Oh,
going
I'm sorry,
up,
152, yeah.
right? Health insurance is going up.
Yeah, that was $300,000.
Board share of pension is going up.
Which line item was that?
That's in the 291s. They're estimating, in fact, I'm even low there, they're estimating it's probably going to be about another 30,000.
Okay,
About
that's not a lot.
630,000.
I'm asking about line item 02710. Why is there a $3 million increase in that line item?
Arlene, when I asked you this earlier, I thought you told me,
Because of salaries.
no, I thought you
Why is
told
it going up by $3 million?
Oh, I know. Oh.
it was in the wrong items. Remember you said something?
There was an education jobs fund funding this year, which was Fund 18,
Yeah.
and that was only a one-time thing.
How much was that? 900 something?
It was over $800,000.
Okay,
That was put back into the.
Okay, but why a
190s
$3
account.
million
All right,
increase?
so we found 800,000 because apparently there was a job fund.
Can I just ask a
No,
question?
1 second. No, that's not an answer, Mr. Inzelbach, and I'm not going to take that as an answer. That is a funding issue. I'm looking at the expenditure. I don't care how we pay for it. In other words, we used to pay for it through an $800,000 grant, and now we're going to have to pay for it from a tax levy. That would be a tax levy increase. I'm not asking you about a tax levy increase. I'm asking about an expenditure. We are